taking accountability for your emotions. For me, Stoicism is not a solution. It's just a way to handle and sort of suppress and numb yourself to emotions. So you learn a philosophy to someone else's way, which is there's no freedom there, and you come up with a way to be very stoic, which is probably good in a war situation. That's where it really comes from. And I worked with Stoics, and I had to dismantle it because it builds up this sort of an armor, and they're very good at war. But when it comes to relationships and subtleties of interrelating with people, it can be pretty brutal. So I've had to dismantle very smart people like Stoicism because they can adopt it. But you don't learn about yourself. You're following a philosophy, I think it is. When it comes to accountability, it's understanding the truth. So I always like to keep it very simple. Let's maybe a fighting analogy, which would be good. You can come up with all these fancy styles, but it's really what works. If you attack me, what works? And I don't give a shit about how it looks, what literally works. So we have to look at the wording that you're using. So there's emotions, and you said that you don't want your kids to be responsible for your emotions. Is that what you said?
I believe that we have learned as parents that what feels the most aligned approach to helping them have the best start in life is for us to be able to give them a safe space to be emotional. So
Sure.
to not be coercing them in some way to not say how they feel, to give them the space to be upset, to allow those emotions to be processed. And because of allowing them to have that space, it can be very triggering for us as parents. And sometimes that's because we weren't given that space ourselves. And I'm like, I want to tell them to shut the fuck up.
Okay.
You're not allowed to be that upset. But equally, we're trying hard to give them that. And therefore, it's this idea that, okay, if we do that, like, they can't be made to feel responsible for our emotions.
Yeah. So if we look at the first thing that you're saying, and allowing kids to process their emotions, if my 8-year-old, she wants to do something and she can't, it's just not, she can't always get what she wants, and she gets upset and disappointed, or she said, I hate her, or whatever. You can see it. It's absolutely real for her in that moment. It is a massive deal. And so what we watch is, when we allow her to be, we never say, like you, don't scream and don't shout. We allow them to process, and you'll see that it comes out. There's a buildup of energy, and then and they're screaming, and then it goes and it starts shivering. Yeah. It's shivering, you see in animals, right? And then it's gone. If you're British, I'm British, so and I believe you are too, Jake.
Yeah.
So we know that it's be good boy. Come on now. Boys don't cry. Be a good boy. Come on. You won't get any tea if you go to bed early. So it's manipulation to try and get the kid to quiet. And that's what we've both been conditioned with, probably. So there's that. So you're doing the right thing. The gold here is when you said, I get angry. I want them to shut the fuck up. So you get triggered, and that's where your responsibility comes in. Is where you understand yourself. So the way I do that is, that's the game. I've started calling it the game because it is a game. It is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is a game. It's you start the game, the only game there is, that is to understand yourself. It's like you go through levels and you find treasures along the way, and there's 5 main gates or levels that I call hamster wheels. That's the game, is to see the game, to see the hamster wheel, see their behavior, and see how it interacts with reality and how you create your reality. There's no woo there. If you just watch very closely through proof of work, you can see your behavior. So you get angry, and it's probably something like, maybe it's not right that your kid's screaming so much, but it's probably because you're unable to do anything. You're unable to calm them down, right? And when you feel unable, and the hamster wheel is the two words. I could explain a little bit more, but there's two words to the program. It's a childhood program, so it's very basic. We're all jammed up on one side or the other. And when you experience unableness, when you're unable to get them to stop, it triggers your conditioning that's come down through your parents, and you get angry. When men feel unable, they get angry. Okay. And then what would have happened when you were a little boy is probably you cried, and maybe your dad got angry because he was unable, and he would have shouted. That would have frozen you a little bit. The imprint comes in, and now when your child triggers that tag, boom, it goes, and you act like your parent.
Yeah.
And that's the tag to see. And then when you understand that, and in the moment you see, oh, I feel completely unable, there's that hamster wheel. There's ways to deal with the hamster wheel that I can talk about. I don't want to, but back to you.
We will. I think you've helped me clarify that actually the idea of emotional accountability, it's actually not necessarily Stoic. That the Stoic reference you just highlighted very well is very much that kind of military mindset that is required for wartime. And it's a very helpful way of thinking about certain things. But in this case, we're talking about parenting. It's not wartime.
No.
And that's helped a lot to think about it like that. And that's why I love these podcasts, because they're literally, it's like learning as you go.
Yeah. Just coming back, the Stoicism thing is just my experience. So I just say what my experience is. I have a lot of people around me, especially Bitcoiners, who are Stoic, and I hear the language, I see the results, and I look, and then I get clients in who are Stoics, and I'm like, wow, there's no solution there. You think you can control the mind, which is the mind. And so you get very clever people starting to get into very bad places.